welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I need to take a person and quickly block them. Boom. Good afternoon, or good night, I should say. Good evening. Welcome to episode 149 of More Than Dice. For people that don't know, we just got hit by a spammer trying to come in, wanting to make us famous by buying us followers.
Why are they
viewers.
still here in the chat?
They should not
Why
be.
have they not been banned or
I did. I
blocked?
I banned them.
I'll block them too.
I'm John.
Hi, I'm Kathy. Welcome.
Oh, hold on. There we go.
Nosferatu, you are totally famous. I've heard of you, anyways.
Okay. They're blocked and banned. So, welcome to episode 149.
49.
Did I miss something?
So, we just a bot spammer.
Oh,
Got that taken care of.
I see it.
Yeah. So, today we're going to talk about a quote that John sent us that actually kind of hit home for me a little bit this week, being that I need to start working on some stuff for my convention, and it got my head rolling a little bit, and I figured we could talk about that. And I'm going to try to get some more flames done on the Flamecia. Like I haven't been doing that for the last 3 streams. But before we do that, John, what are you drinking today?
I have a Moscow Mule.
Wow. Kathy?
I'm having rum and Coke.
I'm
having more Coke,
than rum.
I think, than rum right now.
I mean, you should have more Coke than rum in your rum and Coke. The other way is not advised.
I mean, you're not wrong, but there's less than usual. We'll say it that way.
I am having some good old Maker's Mark. So, working on that.
Scotty is also having a Moscow Mule, even right at this moment.
Well, all I have for alcohol is vodka, so make what I can. Should not go out and get more. Probably should have. Not sure when we have a chance to. Maybe next weekend.
John, do we have any shout outs this week?
Honestly, I don't fucking know. I hadn't had time to keep an eye on that.
Died, and my brain has been in a million places, so I don't remember, sadly.
Squiggy, David Lander, the actor that plays Squiggy in Laverne and Shirley.
Oh.
Yeah, he did
came up. I was like, wow. I mean, I haven't heard that name in forever. I mean, his character was pretty iconic.
Yeah.
Type thing. I mean, he was known for Squiggy for the rest of his life. Type thing. And he passed away just
John
recently.
Prowse was last week, yeah.
Yeah, David Prowse was last week.
Yep.
Thank you.
But the character that he played was pretty amazing. I don't know much about him. I mean, he was 73. So, let's see. I don't think I know of anything else that's going on. Guys, be careful out there. Be safe. Wear a mask. Don't go out unless you have to. Be extra cautious when you do. Look out for each other. It's going to be, we got the winter holidays coming up, and sometimes it's not a good time for people. But if you're having issues, need to talk, all of us are always here. You can find us all on Facebook. You can always check out Kathy every Tuesday through Friday to chat.
4 days a week.
Yep.
My door's open.
On Twitch. If you play any PlayStation multiplayer games, you can hit me up. I'll play some games with you. Do whatever. Let's look after each other this year. Make sure we cover each other's butt. Rub each other's head.
Maybe not the other way around.
Or,
maybe the other way around.
Depending
whatever
on
works,
what gets
really.
Guys,
whatever you want.
Um, we really appreciate y'all being here listening. It really means a lot to us. Cheers.
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 Is this
Hey,
the new?
Trashorama. Yes, this is the new setup. Very festive, huh?
Okay.
Notice my White Sox pennant, Chicago White
All right,
Sox,
hold on.
2005
There we go.
World Series champions. Saying.
Okay, I need to put this. So I did get those 3 minis primed, and I did get 2 of them printed, by the way. And here is the Yakmuk. Let me see if I can try to show this. I bet you it's going to be probably auto-focused.
No, he's looking good.
Okay. I really like the way this guy turned out. He turned out really well. I did have a small print issue right underneath this left arm, or right arm. Or no, where is it? Yeah, here, this elbow. This elbow had a slight misprint. But it wasn't bad enough that I needed to reprint the whole model. But he turned out really well. It's just a little flat, no big deal. I like these little wing things he's got on his back. They turned out really, really cool. I don't know what they're supposed to be, but they look really neat.
Probably the back of his shoulder pad, or no, it's just a wing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. So, but turned out really, really cool. Really, really nice. I mean, this could be a Minotaur in any type of form, no matter what.
Is that Arch Villain? Is that one?
Yeah, this is
Or
the
is
arch
it-
villain.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the arch villain one. But this turned out
trash.
really sweet. I like this one a lot. And then I did prime the Illithid that I printed a while back. A really tall model. And this looks really sweet. I can't wait to. I'm gonna do a metal dry brush all over this stuff right here, and then wash it, and then highlight it up with some like chromey type metal.
That
Really
is such
silver.
a fun model.
Yeah, this one's
And
really
it's
cool.
big, too.
Yeah, well, I actually
it?
supersized this one too. I think I increased it by like 40%. I think is what it was. So I mean, but it turned out really good. Really, really neat. This one's gonna be pretty sweet to paint too. And then I couldn't supersize the monk, by the way, or I would have made him a little bit bigger. But he's pretty solid. Where'd he go? And then I got the Swarmy painted or primed up too. He's a really cool model. I'm gonna try to figure out a way to tack him down a bit better because he's all he's got is this one small.
He's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, you could just pin him to something.
Yeah, but I mean, I primed him up and everything, so it was sweet, and he's just really cool because like this. Because there's 2 parts to him that he's hovering on, this tree branch and then the what do you want to call it? Part of his robes or cloak or whatever.
Oh, a sash or
Sash,
something?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So
I'd just drill a hole in the bottom and pin it to, I don't know, a piece of wood or something temporarily.
Yeah, well, I'm going to build put a base about roughly the size of the top of this for him because he'll look really cool on that. Do like a desert type theme. But he looks really sweet. I've got too many models to paint. They're really cool looking, but that's just kind of how it is, isn't it? So, get back on Flamecia. So, I've got to fix a few things. Got to fix the yellow-red here, because we got to help with the OSL on that. And then start getting the red on the flame tips. Because that's just what we've got to do. So, I'm going to work on that while we talk about our subject. Taste.
I like Hinton's fun fact.
What's it in
The
some-
last hole on the belt is referred to as the Yule hole because you have to loosen your belt that far from all the holiday eating. And my comment about Yule and lighting things on fire was keep yourself warm and your enemies warmer.
Look, I mean, build a man on fire. He's warm for a while. Set a man on fire. He's warm for the rest of his life.
Yes. Exactly. I see we are on the same wavelength.
I mean, the plan B is always set it on fire. Or
I
that
thought
shit
that was
on
nuke
fire.
it from orbit.
No. That's not always in the plan. Like nuclear from orbit is not always
It's
an
so
actual answer.
impersonal.
Setting shit on fire is always a potential answer to any problem you have.
That is very true. I myself was tempted to set some things on fire this weekend as I was moving things around.
Everyone's
It's like,
we're
why do I even still have this? Can I not just set it on fire?
yeah, everyone goes, why is it Plan B? Like, because it's always there. Plan A is the one that you hope will work. Plan B is always set on fire. You don't go from A to B. You have this whole letter spectrum, and you jump around as you need to.
Where does nuclear from orbit fit in there? Where's that letter?
Well, it depends. That might not be a viable option because I mean, if we're talking about stuff that's happening on Earth, I live here. Nuking stuff is a bad idea.
Only if we can actually
Where I keep
escape
my
would
stuff.
that be a good idea. Yeah.
So I mean, you can put it in there. I mean, heck, there's a lot of things that can be Plan C. Doesn't mean you got to go directly to that. Just make sure you have a Plan D also, just in case you got to skip from A to the D. Because sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes it's excessive.
Hinton is asking, is that the philosophy of to kill a person with a match, everything looks like kindling? Yes, I mean, really.
Yeah, kind of.
Anything is flammable if you try hard enough.
Yeah, someone once told me that concrete wouldn't burn, and I'm like, I don't know. Mike Consigliere of setting shit on fire says that's not true.
And Legionnaires suggests fortune cookies that have weird fortunes sound better if you add until you set it on fire. And I actually like that better than in bed.
Yeah.
I like that until you set it on fire. Yeah. I wish I had a fortune handy here to read and just tag that on. You know, like you'll travel the world until you set it on fire.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, to a hammer, everything looks like a nail. That's a classic. Hey, Bill Robertson. Light a fire for a man, keep him warm for an evening, light him on fire. Yeah, John already mentioned that fantastic old adage.
Hey, Plan B is Plan B.
You will have fun in bed till you set it on fire. Yeah, that's legit.
So, John, give us your quote that you sent us.
Oh, yeah. Now, it's funny how I came about this quote, but since I'm working from home, I had to find a notepad to write notes on, and it was on a sticky note on the front page of this notepad. So it's probably from years ago because Wil Wheaton has not been very public the last, I think, 2 years or so. Like he said something, said something that got misconstrued a certain way or something like that. So he's just like, you know what, just eject, which is a good idea. Okay. Sometimes you just need to eject. Don't stay in social media if it starts getting retardo or silly or anything like that. Just eject. So the quote I have listed here is, you should never sacrifice the joy of playing in pursuit of victory. And I shared it with Kathy and Gonzo immediately because it really spoke to me as something I feel like it's lost in many, many, many games.
Well, when I saw that, I understood it, and I was like, yeah. But being that I am running a game convention, and I am about to put up the, invitational stuff for things, it just kind of hit me. And one of the things I haven't told anybody yet, so this is new for Warfare Weekend, I will spoil it here. We're not doing an invitational thing for Warcaster. I spoke with Privateer Press about this, and told them that, I think your game, I think Warcaster doesn't need it to be the way they have their tournament set up, the way, the game is played. It doesn't feel like it wants or needs that type of competitiveness, is the best way to put it.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't mean that we can't have, we're not going to have a tournament at the convention. Just we're not going to have the invitational where people have to qualify to get in type thing. It's just going to be, you want to be in this tournament?
You're in.
Yeah, you're in. And I think the game really sits for that too. The way it's played, the way the tournament packet is done, the way the game feels, to me, it just doesn't. It doesn't have the same atmosphere and the same thing as that. And so that was just something that, and then it kept me thinking about your quote, because I want to do some washing of yellow. We all like to play games. We all like to win. There is no doubt about that. But the quote really hit me because I was like, I'm going to be playing some games with some people pretty soon that are brand new to gaming or that are, just now trying things out. And I was like, is it worth it to go for the win if it's going to sacrifice their playtime and my playtime?
Yeah, I mean,
and it depends on, if I'm in a tournament, that's a whole different story.
No, actually, I think the tournament is actually that's the point where we need it the most.
Well,
now, that's not to say different people don't get joy from different parts of it. So if your joy is only winning, then you're being consistent to yourself. It's like honor. Honor is internal. People can tell you what's honorable, what's not. That's bullshit. Honor is internal. You have your own code. You live by your code. It's like that. If you're having fun winning, and that's what you enjoy, like I literally like winning the game. You're not like salty or anything when you lost, but
correct.
That's the goal I go for. That's fine. That's absolutely true. That is your joy.
Yeah, we've talked about many times. You can win and not be a dick.
Absolutely. You can be focused on winning, that be the biggest thing, and absolutely enjoy the play up to there. In fact, those guys tend to. I think most of you got them, outside of a standard thing, you got to talk to them. They would actually like the competitiveness of the game. They like the good game, not just the win. The game that's like challenging them and everything. That brings them joy. That's their joy in it. But if that's, you don't want to have to play something or some way that you don't enjoy. If you do that just to win, then you've sort of missed the entire point.
Yeah, because there's times I've gone to a tournament and seen someone cheat to win, and I'm like, really, is it that important to you? Is the game that really that important? And I'm not talking about accidental cheating where a stat got called wrong or
those
whatever.
Are called mistakes, not cheating.
Yeah, those are.
Well, I just want to make we make a distinction between the two because.
And we should continue to keep that distinction clear. If you make a mistake, that's not cheating. That is a mistake.
Yeah.
It may not be rectifiable. Maybe the other rule's wrong. It's not cheating, and intention plays a large portion in that.
Yeah. I'm talking about moving dice or fubbing dice because one of the things like in 40K, you're rolling so many, people pick up, quick dice and,
Well, here's a hint for that. Don't pick up hits, pick up misses.
Yeah,
Leave the hits on the table.
That's what I've always done. But
yeah, absolutely. Also your buddy can check. Like, yep, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's weird. I've never seen people pick up hits. Always they
pick up hits.
In fact, they'll just slide the misses to one side.
Yeah, I've seen people accidentally pick up my dice that hit when they're picking up misses. I'm like, no, dude, you picked up one that was a hit.
Yeah.
We're both here for that. I don't want them to lose out on something because they are trying to go quick. But yeah, it was a very telling quote. And it's applicable for like anything, any sort of game. So, story time. There's an old Star Wars fighting game called Masters of Terrascas.
Oh man,
that was their fighting game that came out.
I remember that.
And I played the crap out of it. And I found quickly when I got Chewbacca that I just won every match because he has a giant Wookiee leg, and his fucking leg sweep type move had like better reach than most people's other moves. So I won the entire game just with one move.
Leg sweep.
Was it fun? No. And that's sort of the thing. Like, it wasn't fun. I would rather play it, but you're young and dumb. You just want to see his cutscene is at the end. But it was definitely like one of those things where you gave up the joy of playing. I give the joy of playing to just get a victory. And I've seen people do that all the time when in games like that. They find one thing and it's just not fun. It's just repeat. The guys who are like autopilot their game, like, dude, you're not having fun. Why are you playing it? I think you're just true with the Cobra Kai, yes. sweep the leg. And on that, Arthur says that's a problem with some of the GW faction dice. They're harder to read, and as they're different, and they take longer to register what the result is. When stressed on time in a game, you're going to just hope your opponent's honest. Well, they should keep doing it the same way. If you guys agree, that's part of the social contract. Hey guys, let's pick up our misses, leave our hits, so that your opponent can double check.
Yeah, that's how I've always.
And I hate
played
those
normally.
dice. Like fucking dice. Come on, guys. Just a rant. Like get dice that are readable. And use the same kind. Like you've got multiple types of dice, as long as they all have something on the 1 or all have something on the 6. Don't have something on the 1, something on the 6, and you got to fucking figure it out. No, fuck that. That's bullshit.
Oh, you could buy those dice, by the way.
Wow, really? Geez, Gonzo, tell me more how I can buy those dice.
You could buy those dice on going to Metalhead Minis and buying the More Than Dice dice or the Warfare Weekend dice that have something on those 6.
I mean, like
More Than Dice
dice?
dice.
I think we're almost out of our More
Like
Than
those
Dice.
dice.
dice. I'm sure I have more in here too, but I've got lots of dice, baby. Oh, there's more. More dice. I got them just in time to not play games, so I
I
don't
know.
get to use them. So they're still in baggies in my drawer of random stuff.
Yeah, there's dice that I've got for new D&D dice that friends gave me that I'm not using because when I play online, I am playing in Discord or I'm playing somewhere else where there's a dice rolling bot or like, Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds or what's the other one? It also starts with an F. Anyways, so they have their own dice rolling, thing that they do, and so I'm not using my actual dice.
Well, it's like the RPG we've been playing. I've been using the roller that's on D&D Beyond and such. So
I'll be honest, I would probably set it up so that I had my hobby cam pointed at my dice tray and I would roll live if I was really going to play one for a while, because I don't like bot dice. That's part of the fun. I think that's part of my disconnect with online role playing. You're not rolling dice. It's just like, eh.
No, in Shadowrun game,
dice.
we have a choice. We can either use the bot or we can use our dice.
Awesome.
He doesn't really care. So I actually have been rolling D6s.
Yeah, I've been using the dice roller on D&D Beyond because it calculates everything for me, so I don't forget it. But other than that, not a big deal. It's more of a
sounds like your weakness.
It's more.
Once you pass, so you had a tough time.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't know. So Hinton says, back to the main topic, it says, that's why I got a Magic of the Gathering back in '98. I played competitively only and didn't play for fun anymore. Winning was all I cared about. Yeah, you can do that if you want, and some people that's what they want, but it's not. If it's not fun, what are we doing? It's like someone will go to online. I'm playing MechWarrior Online. Everyone's like, why aren't you? One of our guys, who's our top tier guy, let's say, is like, oh, you're playing that. Why aren't you playing this build? I'm like, because that build's boring. I don't want to play that build. It's like, but it's the best build. I don't care. I want to play this. I enjoy this. And so he doesn't understand necessarily, but a lot of those guys, those top tier guys, are like, oh, okay, you understand it is not the best build. You choose to play this because it is different. It's what you want to play. That's cool. They're cool with that. They're like, sure, do your thing.
As long as you're performing, and you're doing something, not just standing
your
in the
performance
back.
is in a ratio with that. Sure. Do I do as well as the other version does? Maybe not. Do I care? Not in the slightest. Hey, Jenny Joyo.
Jenny Joyo. Hi.
And Arathu. Yeah, Arathu, I like the feel of dice mayhem I'm playing. I still think it's better to keep the dice public if on a stream so chat can see it. Oh yeah, absolutely. I would, like I said, I would totally have it set up like in my camera into my dice tray and just roll dice in there. That's super cool.
Anti-FOTM. What is FOTM?
I have no idea.
For those of us that don't speak in letters, I don't know.
What language that is.
I have no idea. Flavor of the month. Thank
Oh yeah,
you.
there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're neither. I mean, sometimes it's fun. Like there are things I play. Like everyone's like, oh, that's the meta build or the meta deck. I don't care if it's fucking fun. If I'm having a hoot playing it, it don't matter because then as we said, I'm not sacrificing my joy of playing. In fact, sometimes I'm getting even better joy out of playing whatever is the big thing. You know, if it's a hoot, who cares? You know, and it's the hardest thing in a game because, as Gonzo said, are you sacrificing yourself and the other players' fun? And that's a hard thing because you don't necessarily know going into a game what the other player is going to have fun doing. So it's hard to judge that. So all you can really judge in most games that you play that aren't against a standard opponent or something like that. Most pickup games or online games, anything like that, is you have to just make sure you're having fun doing what you're doing. As long as you're having fun, it's fine. We say that in our unit all the time. Guys like, well, this isn't the greatest. Like, it's not skilled up. Like, we don't care. Just have fun. Are you having fun? Play it. If you need to do something else to have fun, do something else to have fun. We're with you. Just let us know. We'll support you having fun. It's the point of gaming. I mean, sure, the objective of the game is to win, but the point of the game, philosophically speaking, is to have enjoyment or fun. And if you are not, then the fuck are you doing? I mean, I've had that a lot. That's why I stopped playing War Machine or Hordes, to be honest. I didn't enjoy it. There are people that I played I'd enjoyed against, but a lot of people, it becomes a grind. Is that worth it?
Arathu says it depends a lot on how competitive it is. In Masters Tournament, taking something you don't really think is the best isn't even an option.
That is false. I played a lot of War Machine and Hordes tournaments. You can have Zaganzo and Bania, and I'd play whatever I want, and I would not always win all of it, but I would do good, solid performance every time. Sometimes it is about doing the best with what you've got, and that, in some ways, is my challenge. The best with what you got. That's why a lot of those big players, War Machine and Hordes back in the day, would take armies and they'd switch them with somebody else. They'd all switch their armies. It's playing the best you can with something you've got. This is what I've got. Cool, let's go.
Oh my gosh, if that makes me think of my friend's tournament that he ran, and it was called the Generals Tournament, and he put together an army of every type of army in Warhammer Fantasy at the time, and it was randomly decided who played which army over the course of the entire tournament. So you had no idea which army you were going to be playing. Am I going to be playing Bretonnians? Am I going to be playing Empire? Am I going to be playing Orcs and Goblins? I don't know. And I never saw so many people having so much fun.
I have those, they're called steamrollers with a twist. And every round had a twist. And one twist was always, all right, you're everybody deployed. Now go stand on your opponent's side and you play his army and blah, blah, blah.
Those are... Now, you have to be aware of that because it is a different style of thing.
Yeah, you tell me this tournament is a steamroller with a twist, and it's got weird things going on.
And Arathu, to further on that, that's just what I did. Not everyone would do that. You could think it's less competitive in a tournament. I would do it in all tournaments. Didn't always do well. In the Banyan's point, last time I lost War Machine Hordes game, probably the last tournament I played, did like 50% 2-2. I mean, it happens. Pickup game, sure, is one thing, but it's not the same thing, But I just like enjoying when I'm playing, It's why I stopped, because it became sort of a grind to do certain things. That's why I don't play 40K tournaments. Every time I see one being played, it's everyone rushing around and there's such a short time limit and blah, blah. I'm like, no, that's not my thing. Yeah. I want to enjoy the game I'm playing.
You're not a tournament player.
Mm-hmm. And I've played games on time limits, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what you want to do, but not always.
There are always those people that the thing that's fun for them is the winning of the tournament. The thing that's fun for them is being competitive, and that. So it's not like that's a bad thing.
No.
And, you want to be competitive and go for best general or best overall. There's nothing wrong with that
No.
as long as you're enjoying yourself.
But if
Mhm.
you're sitting there playing the game and you're trying to win the tournament, and every 4 seconds you're yelling and screaming at your dice, and you know you're upset about everything that's
And
happening,
you're being a Mr. Cranky Pants
yeah,
because
Mr.
your dice
Crank.
rolled
Yeah.
bad.
I mean, it
yeah,
happens.
yeah, it does
Live by him,
happen. But
die
I
by
mean,
him.
if you're trying to win and you're having a bad time trying to win, then it's maybe something you need to think about. We all can't we can't we can't I don't know who did that or what it was. Um, we all can't
So
win.
follow this birthday.
Oh, um, lost my train of thought
Sorry.
now.
Well, that's sort of the point for knowing what the event or game is going to be like. You need to make sure you're have the right expectations. A lot of life is making sure you've set the right expectations for those around you and you're getting your expectations set correctly. You don't want to go into a game like your War Machine with the Twist, steamroller and expect a standardish game. You need to be expecting something different.
Yeah. Oh, I remember what it was. You can't help dice rolls. So if you're having problems with dice, there's nothing you can do about that. That's just
Oh,
how it
so,
is. But if you've got these problems where you're constantly making mistakes and you're constantly, moving the wrong model the wrong place or, whatever,
mhm.
that's something that you need to evaluate. Um, I know people that are. I mean, my War Machine and Hordes area is pretty super competitive around me, um, but a lot of them are pretty cool and pretty chill, and they're like, okay, this, it didn't work. Now they may get upset while they're playing and stuff, but they're not going to. I haven't seen a lot of people. Don't get me wrong. There's always somebody, but I haven't seen a lot of people hold grudges. Ooh, that's not good. Hold grudges because they lost because of bad die roll or whatever. There's
Yeah.
just
I think that's the thing that maybe some people are confusing that we're saying being competitive is an unhappy thing, but
No,
that's not
God, no.
what we're saying at all.
correct.
It's a time and a place for that. You come into that event, like we had a guy locally, Matt Hennemeyer, not the name drop, but he was one of our good players, but he was also one of those guys who knew the game he was playing at that moment. I could unleash him upon the newest of noobs and he'd help him and instruct him. It would be a positive experience for that person. And he could come into whoever came in the hardest of the hard and play the pants off of them. They'd have a good game because that he knew how to do that.
Yeah.
And that is the ultimate, I think, in how to do it. If you can set yourself for all of those and be aware enough of the game you're playing, because you set your expectations right, so you're going to enjoy it more, and then the other person's going to enjoy it more. So that's like next level. Because honestly, at the start, you have to make sure you enjoy it.
Yeah. Because there's
If your
nothing wrong
opponent
with
only
being.
enjoys winning and you win against them, I mean, they're going to get a little upset. Maybe it happens.
Nothing wrong with being competitive.
Not at all. And then so Arthur says, I'm all for fun armies, but invitational tournaments when they're limited spots, I think it's letting both those who didn't qualify and the host down if you don't try to win with your best ability. So that's another level of that is we're not talking about, hamstringing. If you want to say taking units in the game that are perfectly legal is hamstringing yourself because they're not what everyone considers top tier, sure, then I'm not. But if I qualify playing that way, I think it's doing everyone a disservice to change the way I play just in a tournament, for that particular thing. And I think it's actually good. There's a lot of people who come in with the dark horse armies and people don't know what to do with them. I had that a lot of times. People be like, "What the hell is John doing?" I don't even know.
I was really all about that. When I was playing Grimkin and trying to get into the invitational and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I was playing a Grimkin list, and they were like, "I don't know how to handle this," and they were like, "Fuck, that totally fucked me up," and I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
it did what it was supposed to do."
yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, again, like I said, you have to play to have fun yourself. That should be the most important thing, and then the second most is try to make sure your opponent also has fun. But they're unfortunately mutually exclusive, and sometimes you're ideas of what is fun are going to clash, and that's just the way of life, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Best you can do is try to have the most fun you can with what you're doing. And I'm not picking any wrath. You're just bringing up good points that I want to bring up because they are legitimately good points. But it goes into sort of a frame of mind thing too. And then sparingly said, I played at a game store where War Machine is the main game. We have a world-class player who goes most of the big tournaments. He likes the competitive aspect of the game, is also one of the nicest guys to play against and learn from. Absolutely. There's a ton of guys like that in all the hobbies, and that's great. Like, let's use my current hobby, which is MechWarrior Online. All the big guys would love to drop in a private lobby and spend some time teaching people how to be better at the game. Because that's when people be better at the game. The more people are better, the more better games they have. It gets better for everyone. You know, it's weird. I mean, it's hard to quantify sometimes. You know, yes, that's fair. The biggest win is for everyone to walk away happy. Sadly, it can always win that way. No, I mean that's true. I mean, but I have a lot of like games where I lost a close game. I'm like, that was a good game. Thank you very much. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. There's a difference between I got my ass stomped and the guy was a dick about it to I got my ass stomped and this guy, you know, was really fun. Because one of the things I do when I play a game, I make sound effects. I'm a little silly at some of the stuff I do. But I mean, that's just me because I mean, that's how I enjoy my game. I don't have a problem with being a bit silly on certain things like, oh, well, this guy's got a defense of 800. What? I'm like, I'm joking. It's okay. It's just a game.
Well, you got to feel out your comedy.
Yeah.
You got to feel out your audience there.
That's like when somebody asked me what my armor class is, and I'm like, it's 75. I'm like, really?
No, you're
looking at me as if I'm serious because anybody would have an AC of 75.
If you have to ask, then you missed.
Or, you know, whenever, you know, moving my models, I will and make sound effects when I play my game.
Yeah.
I see nothing wrong with that. Yeah. I don't do that myself just because I'm not that good at making sound effects. So, you know.
Oh, there are people that hate it beyond belief. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to make a sound effects on certain things.
We're playing with toy soldiers, my friend. Yeah. Get over yourself.
Yeah. No, I don't, you know, if it's a tournament scene, I don't, you know, make it where I'm extending my opponent's time so he, you know, loses time or whatever. Nothing like that. Nothing to break the rules. It's just, you know, that's just how I am. I like to be silly, surprisingly.
Bradley wants to know if you make screams of agony if a dragon burns your units to a crisp. I would. I'd do that.
Yep.
I'd be good at that.
I don't want to know where you got the skill of being good at screams of agony. Do not need to know.
Yeah, never mind.
So as Randy said, I played in SteamRoller 3 except for starting to learn War Machine, knew I was going to get thrashed, and that took all the pressure off me. Yeah, like I said, that's managing your expectations. If you know what to expect going into a game, my MWO unit, since that's the only thing I'm doing right now, we went into the competitive play expecting to get our asses whooped, and we got our asses whooped. We learned a ton. We all became better players, but we got our asses whooped. We played some of the top teams multiple times because we were all up in there early, you know, and we had a great time for the most part. A couple people got a little salty here or there, but they were coming in with wrong expectations, like winning against top tier teams. Come on. But most of us had a great time and learned a ton. It was good. And Leisure says, unfortunately, where I started, I assume he means where I started playing competitively, it seemed like being a dick was the game. And that's sometimes too. You realize maybe that's not the right game for you to play at that place. Sparingly, I'm playing MechWarrior Online. That's all I'm playing right now, pretty much. Kind of late to the party since it's been around for a while, but it's what I got. I'm enjoying the crap out of it.
And I think that's really what it comes down to is when you're not enjoying the game you're playing, even if you're playing it competitively, that's something you need to look at.
Indeed. Now, sometimes you'll continue playing because I've gone to tournaments and not been having a good time, but I'm like, you know what? I've committed. I'm going to make this tournament bad for other people if I just drop. So I'm not going to drop. I'm going to continue playing and then just see what I can do. You know, you just keep doing it as long as you can, and then someone's like, "Oh, someone's dropping." I'm like, "Oh, good, I'll drop too."
I've done that before. Whenever I was playing, and someone was like, "I'm dropping. I'm not having fun." I'll go to the TO. Goes, "Hey, I'll drop too. That way you can have an even number still." And they're like, "Okay."
It's funny that we do have to explain, and thanks, Jared, to Train Minis, that this is the podcast that we do weekly on the same channel that Kathy paints.
Oh yeah, and I'm not in fact painting the ancient one from Shadows of Brimstone because get this, folks, I finished Carl last night, this morning. Technically, it was about midnight when I put the finishing touches on him. Yeah, he's done. That means now I get to start my plan of attack for learning how to do oil paints. Bradley is asking, do you moan when your units are stunned by a seducing demon? I find this very amusing to imagine.
No.
No? Gonzo, why not?
Because I've never been seduced by a demon before. How about that?
That's so sad.
Oh, indeed, apparently. Yep, being graceful in both victory and defeat means soldiering on through a tournament you know you won't place top 3 in. And that's what you got to do. Sometimes I'm not going to place top anything.
Oh,
I'm just trying to avoid bottom.
Hootie Hoot is asking, what mini is this if it's not the ancient one?
It is not the ancient one, but if you do exclamation point, what is that command? It will be in there, but I did fix that. Haha. This is the Flamecia model. I actually supersized it from Archvillain's 3D Patreon. It's a little bit bigger.
What's that command again? Because it didn't work.
Should be, what is it?
Oh, what is it? You said what is.
Oh. Exclamation point, what is it?
There you go. Someone closer to Norway, they got to get over there so the demons do some stuff. That's so weird. That's actually not really something I see in the game so much anymore.
What?
They tend to make that more of a passive effect rather than a active effect. Wow. Apparently, you have to take lots of pictures of Carl Thulu because Nosferatu is going to miss him.
I will definitely be taking pictures of Carl. Never fear, Mr. Carl Thulu, accounts receivable, will be represented online soon.
And someone's going to have a heck of a game when they get to him in Shadows of Brimstone because I never had to face anything quite that big, and there are plenty of things that my character pooped himself against.
Yeah.
Remember, whatever game you're playing, pooping yourself is a free action.
Mizzy,
that's
you get
reassuring.
That?
Or is it a bonus action?
I mean, whichever. Depends on what your rules say.
It's a free action.
So yeah, I mean, we never ran from anything like that, though. Even the big stuff, we'd stay and fight because, you know, I was a bandito. I was a Mexican, not a Mexican. And now it's quiet. That joke was about as well as I expect. Tough crowd.
Yeah, your OSL is looking good there, Gonzo.
Yeah. I went and re-dry brushed some white over it to get rid of that red. And then I'm using this, the transparent yellow to get a base on it. And then I'm going to take and do, I'm kind of like using it as a wash.
Throw a little bit of orange in the areas where your darker shadows are on the bricks.
Yeah, and then do a little bit whiter on some of the, use some of that fluorescent just to hit the touches.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Actually, I remembered you saying that from a podcast, Kathy, when I was painting Amanozaki's lantern. So I made sure I put a little orange away from the center of it where the light would start to get a little darker. On that, the center port where the light comes out. I'm like, oh, let's make it a little more orange there so that it looks appropriate.
Yeah, because I'm taking the transparent yellow from Pro Acryl to use as a kind of a wash to get in there, and then I'll go back with the orange, and then that fluorescent yellow to get it a little bit, brighter yellow where I want it to be a brighter yellow.
Oh, so yeah. So spreading us now, sorry for the super noob question, but what are the main things you talk about in your weekly podcast? Whatever. This week was, I don't know if you missed it, was the quote by Wil Wheaton I brought up this week, which was, let me grab it here again so I don't misword it. It's you should never sacrifice the joy of playing in pursuit of victory. We'll have whatever, someone will see something during the week that'll become a topic. Maybe it'll be role playing related, maybe miniature game, maybe board game, whatever we really want to. And we will go off topic a lot.
Yes, we do go off topic.
Sometimes we go off topic so much for topic.
Usually Gonzo is painting a miniature while we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And then during the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, is when I have my stream during the day starting at 3 p.m. Central where I paint miniatures. And Carl, the ancient one from Shadows of Brimstone is what I have been working on. And I just had to push yesterday off stream to get him finished.
Because that was a commission piece. That wasn't a
That was a commission piece, yeah. So he's out of the way. So now, this coming Tuesday, I will be starting my journey into oil painting. I'll be using oil paints to paint miniatures. I'm going to start out with a few busts that are Lovecraft themed. So that is the plan for Tuesday. I'm pretty excited about it. And I think we all know that the first stage of learning to paint with oil paints is 50 Shades of Mud. It's all the various types of brown that you'll be mixing as you learn how to mix your paints. So that's going to be me. I'm going to be playing around with my palette and seeing just what those paints can do and how I can get different colors, how they work. And Arathu says, of course, my only art with oils is with baby oil. Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
So yeah, so that's my thing that I do during the week, and this is the one that Gonzo does on Sunday nights while we talk about whatever geeky things just come into our heads. And oftentimes it's fueled by the chat. So feel free to make suggestions about topics that you would like to hear about or like to hear us talk about, or make comments that we will then read out loud and discuss.
Absolutely.
Which, by the way, I wanted to make an announcement. We do have 2 other podcasts that are underneath our banner, per se. One is a Warcaster thing called Through the Void Gate. It's a brand new guy that's just started, so if you find us on there and you hear that, Josh Xix is started that. And then we have the Minority Report guys, and they have actually something pretty cool coming out next week. Every day they'll have an episode where they have talked with Privateer Press people and did interviews with them about certain things coming up. So it's a 1-a-day type thing, so it'll be kind of interesting to see what they've got. Won't be on Twitch, of course, but it'll be, in our podcasts and our streams.
Yeah, the only thing I might add to Twitch, and it's a little ways away because holiday times are going to be crazy. I might start streaming MechWarrior Online as I play poorly. But again, a little bit of ways. I don't have a lot of time for that right this moment. But Gonzo really wants me to, so.
Aspiringly says, and someday I'll say that right, aspiringly says, I bought some oil paints to try mini painting with, but I'm still fighting to get acrylic paints to bend to my will, and I figure I should just focus on them for a while. That's how I felt. Oh my gosh, you guys. Excuse me while I interrupt that with this late breaking news. Captain Madlove is raiding.
Hey, Captain Madlove.
Welcome in, raiders, and thank you so much, Captain Madlove, for raiding. Much appreciated, and I love you. You're awesome. Gosh, welcome in, raiders. This is More Than Dice, a podcast. This is our Sunday night podcast where we talk about gaming and other geeky things. And Gonzo is painting Flamecia from Raging Heroes. And and we're just talking. So, if you have anything you'd like us to talk about, shoot.
Yeah, you're about to hit us for our media section where we talk about movies and video games and such
Yeah.
music
Yeah.
that we've partaked of in the recent week.
Which I watched a bunch of things. Big surprise, right?
That was my shocked face.
I watched some things.
I watched
That's a shock face.
Well, things. I watched two things.
I binge watched an entire series of a new show that came out.
Oh.
And I started watching a new series. So we'll see how that goes.
And before anyone's worried, we will not spoil Mandalorian.
No spoiler, Mandalorian. I did watch
That's
that.
good because I still haven't watched any episodes of the second season.
Yeah, watch out for social media there, Kathy. I followed 3 people on Twitter.
Really need to get that taken care of.
Yeah,
I've been busy this week moving my studio around. So, people who are familiar with my setup will know that this background is different than what I normally used to have. This is my picture window with the lights in it behind me now.
It's very picturesque.
It is picturesque. It's very festive.
No, apparently that's not a spoiler. The Mandalorian is awesome. You should watch it. Yes, that is true. That is not a spoiler.
That's true. That is a true
awesome.
story. I've enjoyed the hell out of the first season, and I definitely need to watch the second season.
Legionnaire for highlights, I would probably go with Moldy Ogre.
For blonde hair?
Yes.
You know what? And it's funny because I've been thinking about this, looking at other people painting blonde hair and thinking about how I painted blonde hair when I first, was trying to paint blonde hair. And it's that you really don't use yellow. Yellow just makes it look too lemony. It makes it look fake. So if you're using some kind of lemon yellow or just a really bright, pure yellow, that's not what you want for blonde hair. You want something that is a little bit less saturated. You want like a golden yellow, or if the only yellow you have is a bright yellow, mix a tiny bit of purple with it and that'll desaturate it a little bit. It'll make it more beige or tan.
Interesting, because I was trying to do something similar to that and using an off-white mixed with it to try and get it down. It took quite a bit.
Yeah, anytime you use white or something with a white pigment in it, it's going to desaturate your color a bit. So that works if you want a lighter value.
Yeah.
If you want a darker value, then throw in a little bit of purple to it, and it'll sort of gray it up or brown it a little bit.
I assume you just throw in whatever's opposite on the color wheel.
Scotty goes, Kathy says if you use yellow, you're doing it wrong and should be ashamed of yourself. You dishonored your ancestors. That's not really true. I mean, if you want bright yellow hair, then that's exactly what you should use.
If you want anime yellow hair, then yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I actually like a little bit of yellow as the highlight because it gives it that almost anime look without going full anime. Just on the highest points, just for a little bit of that pop, if you will.
But I've had hair that just looks too lemony, and and it's always sad making, and I'm like, why did I do that? I need to remember this so that I can learn from my mistakes.
I actually like rucksack tan as the basic because it's a very yellowy brown.
Yeah, that's that's what made me think of it, because that tan just seems much more in line with what you would want for blonde. Captain Madden says, I love you all, crew. more than dice. You're a rock star, but I must go to bed. Oh, tomorrow comes early, Captain. Thank you again for the raid. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Have a good night. Sweet dreams.
You gotta paint Pikachu. Oh yeah, Pikachu definitely go full yellow.
Oh, absolutely. Or Tweety Bird.
Tweety Bird, yeah. Yeah. Pika, Pika, Pika.
Because of course you have a Pikachu
Would,
right there.
would you
I
not
have
call
two
that
Pikachus right here.
Pikachu? I'm gonna type in the chat room.
I have two, one primed and one unprimed.
That's a peekaboo Pikachu.
Pikachu, Pikachu.
Ink
Those
the
are really
Kitsune
cool.
is booping Kathy. Aw, I will boop you on the nose.
You can do hugs.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. See if I even remember how to do it. I did. It worked.
There you go.
Exclamation point, hug, and then tag the person. The commands are new to me. So they're new to this channel.
Well, we had them for a while. When we took them away, they weren't really working, and then we brought them back. So.
We're just talking about. Do you want to read that quote again, John? Since we've got some new people in here, and our media section hasn't started
we'll finish
yet.
it out so they can go back and listen to the whole thing later if they want to, if it sounds interesting. The whole thing was based on a quote from Wil Wheaton from a couple years ago that I had written down on a notepad I found. Actually, I'm going to guess it was some time ago because this notepad I last used in 2015, apparently. Anyways, you should never sacrifice the joy of playing in pursuit of victory. And we had, good discussion of that because that's where it brought out a lot for us because it means that in a lot of games, whether it be, sort of finish out our topics, it's about the media section, whether it be miniature games, board games, online games potentially, even role-playing games, there are things you can do that are not fun that would let you win, and is that really what you need? Is that really what you want? Is you enjoying it still?
Yeah,
sure.
that's the thing. I mean, you can be competitive. You can be really competitive and play in tournaments and stuff and enjoy what you're doing, but I have seen people who just, it's miserable for them, and I'm like, why are you putting yourself through this?
Yeah, why are you still doing it?
It's like that online build of some D&D class, like, oh, it wrecks everything it comes into contact to. Yeah, but are you having fun? Because if not, what are you doing? You're doing it wrong. Triply so in a role-playing game. Like, I can give you a little bit of pass. You're like, well, I don't really enjoy this army for a miniatures game, but it works really well, and I win, and I like winning. Okay, cool. I mean, you at least understand what you're doing, but if you're not enjoying it, don't play it.
So, with that said, now it is the 2-minute warning for our media section here.
Yeah, Gonzo.
Dang it.
And Gonzo's like, no, I'm right in the middle of doing this light color on my flames.
Well, I'm finally getting that fluorescent yellow inside of the thing. It'll hold. I'm putting it inside the grooves and the divots, and it's really flashing out now.
Yeah, it's looking really good.
I mean, it's really going.
So the sword that I painted on Carl, the Ancient One from Shadows of Brimstone, who we lovingly call Mr. Carl Thulu, Accounts Receivable. So his sword, it was Legionnaires who suggested that his sword be made out of darkstone, which is a material in that game. I've never played Shadows of Brimstone, so I didn't know. And the darkstone is purple, like amethyst. So I made the sword to hopefully look like, amethyst or something crystal that's purple. Well, the runes on it, I wanted them to look sort of glowy, and I used fluorescent pink. And I'm looking at it after I was done with my stream, and I was like, God damn, that looks like a Barbie sword. It looks like the sword that Dark Barbie would be wielding if she had tentacles growing out of her face, which also makes me want to modify a Barbie. However, I decided to use some Vallejo fluorescent yellow mixed with a little white to highlight those runes. And all of a sudden, it looked like it gave it some heat. And it also contrasted with the purple enough so it looks more glowing and less Barbie.
Which is
So,
awesome.
so yay! Yes, one of the cameras is upside down intentionally. That's Gonzo.
He's weird.
Agusaki says, I miss Wil Wheaton's tabletop so much. Yeah, I enjoyed tabletop. I thought that was a fun series that he did. Dark Barbie. I know, right, Wavy? I feel like this has to happen now. Dark Barbie and her sword and her tentacles. I have to do this. I have to do Dark Barbie. I need to write this down. All of my stuff is in different places now. I just moved my studio around and things are still unorganized. Oh my god, and don't even know where a writing utensil is. Damn it. I don't have I haven't taken my final pictures of Carl yet. I just finished him at midnight last night this morning. So I haven't had a chance to take pictures yet. But soon. And Captain Mizzy invoked the boob hammer, which takes you to my Instagram so that you can see work in progress pictures of Carl and my Goblin Pumpkin Riders. So you can click that link. That will take you to my Warcry, but that also goes to my Instagram in general. So if you feel like it.
So I have go to the media section. Sorry, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but 2 of them will be quick.
Perhaps you should start.
Okay. So I finished the new episode of Star Trek Discovery.
No spoiler.
No spoilers. No spoilers. There'll never be spoilers on this stuff. I'm actually really, really, really like the way they're doing Star Trek Discovery. It is super, super good. There has been a lot of talk on how they're taking the show and where they're taking it and stuff, and I'm excited for where they're taking it. This show really has stepped over and made itself its own individual Star Trek show now. It has definitely set itself apart, which I really, really like. I can't wait to see more of the episodes. Discovery's just been super, super good. No spoilers or anything. If you liked last season, you're really going to like this season.
Cool.
And then, eventually. Yeah. And then my other one, non-spoiler related, was Mandalorian. This newest episode. Right after that. Yeah. This new episode, fanboy just came out in me type thing. So I really, really love it. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with it. I like everything the direction they're going, the expanding of the universe more. I'm all for what they're doing to Mandalorian right now. Non-spoiler review, I'm loving it.
Absolutely. It was super awesome. I may or may not have totally bought an action figure after that, after watching it. But I did want to talk about something else. So since I was working all day Friday, and it was a long-ass day, 12.5 hours is a hell of a day, and I didn't really get to watch it until, a certain point where things slowed down enough that I could do that and not feel like I was interfering with my job at all. Because I would never want to do that, but limited time with how long I'm working. So when I watch it early, just looking at Twitter real quick, I'd already seen spoilers from people, who were spoiling little things. And I'm like, literally posted, like, just stop posting fucking spoilers. I know you live in the fucking UK and you've already seen it because, hey, look, it's already, whatever time of night out there. But for fuck's sake, stop spoiling for everyone else. Show some fucking impulse control. Yeah. Take that shit to personal messages, people. Doubly so, if your ass is promoting your YouTube channel on fucking Twitter, I will unsubscribe to that YouTube channel so fast your head will fucking spin.
Yeah, at
I will
least
badmouth your shit to everyone because you don't have any fucking imposter control because you are ruining it for everyone else who doesn't get the joy of seeing that for the first time.
yeah.
When the thing happens, and you guys will see when the thing happens in The Mandalorian, know that I already knew that thing was going to happen because it had it fucking spoiled.
Yeah. Their thing is if you're going to spoil it, you should definitely say, "Hey, spoilers!" Like we did when we did our Star Wars one. Spoilers, don't turn it off. Do it. But I mean, if you're
Twitter is
doing
not
it,
the place for spoilers because there's no way to hide them in Twitter. You can do it on Facebook because you can enter enough so it becomes a long post that it truncates.
correct.
So you only see that. Click here to read more as they spoil. Cool. I have no problem with that. That's awesome. But if you fucking put it somewhere where it's like you say spoiler and just list it there, like spoiler, and then go, actual, spoiler in the comments, and then go into the comments, there you've got a chance to look away, and I would call that acceptable. You still shouldn't do that shit because it's really hard to hide. Someone might just see that pop up in their feed. Just fucking stop it. Because I unsubscribed to a YouTube channel, I fucking unfollowed 3 people on Twitter. Like, no, I'm fucking done, you fuckers. Stop doing that shit. So have to work for a fucking living, and to keep themselves sane during their day, they get to look through Twitter real quick, see what's going down. It just the fuck.
Sorry. So
Pressure, spoiler: there are no mandolins in The Mandalorian.
Ruined. So
I'm waiting
my,
for the Banjalorian to come out.
the Banjalorian. Oh, I think my boy Joe could be that, the Banjalorian. He's actually wants to learn the Mandalorian theme on banjo. He's starting to learn banjo in.
Oh God, that's
quarantine.
awesome.
I told him he can do that, but not until after he learns the Rainbow Connection. There are standards to be maintained.
Oh, absolutely.
Step 1, Rainbow Connection. Step 2, Mandalorian theme.
So, Kathy, I'm sure you watched something with James Bond in it this week.
I did. I watched 2 things with James Bond. 2 James Bond movies today. And so the first one was the last Sean Connery James Bond, which is Diamonds Are Forever. And God, you love the song at the beginning. It's fantastic. The way they light the girls at the beginning was really cool. Because there's always the girls, dancing in silhouette and stuff. Because it's, well, let's see, this was 1971, I think. Anyways, I liked it. I forgot how much of it takes place in Las Vegas. So that was weird. You know what? There were parts of it that were actually almost boring to me. I was distracted because I wasn't engaged enough. There are other James Bonds where I'm just riveted to it, and it's fun, and there's action, and there's humor and everything. But in this case, And then after that, right after that, I watched the first one with Roger Moore in it. And that was Live and Let Die, which of course is the one, Paul McCartney and Wings did the theme song for that one, Live and Let Die. And that's the one that it's very dated. It was 1973 and it shows. It's all about voodoo, and Jane Seymour makes her debut as Solitaire, the lady who reads tarot cards. And
Butterfly colors?
There's so much. At one point, I was like, James Bond manipulating women into bed since 1963.
Yeah.
Except I still like this one. I like To Live and Let Die. I enjoy it. It's so cheesy. It's so corny. It's so very corny.
A heck of a shock from other James Bond, because I've seen a good portion of it recently.
Especially coming off of the George Lazenby one from last weekend, which was much more serious. And then Diamonds Are Forever. It starts to it is already not taking itself quite as seriously. But then once you hit Roger Moore, he's definitely taking Bond in a whole different direction. But if you've been a fan of Doctor Who and you've seen, the Doctor appear in so many different forms, you kind of are used to that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So You don't, and there's that whole fan theory that James Bond is actually a Time Lord. And those are his regenerations.
So, rating?
Geez, so Diamonds Are Forever, I would give that 2 space herpes. It didn't engage me. To Live and Let Die, I would give 3 because I like that one better. However, it is so corny and dated. But I laughed.
Let's see.
So, so for those that don't know, our system of rating movies is space herpes, and so 0 space herpes is desirable. More space herpes obviously is a bad thing.
And it only goes to 5, generally speaking.
Yeah.
We even tried rating anything higher than 5. And our other rating scale is on a scale of from Cats to Casablanca. What do you rate it? Cats being the worst movie, and Casablanca being the best movie. In case that wasn't clear.
Actually, it wasn't Roger Moore doing
Nope,
Bond,
Timothy Dalton
doing the wheelie in the semi truck.
And it was on one. Yeah, it was on one side of his wheels. That was Timothy Dalton. In the second of his Bond out, his second and last Bond out, with was it the drug related one where they
oh, the one that just reminded me so much of Miami Vice.
Yes, it was very Miami Vice. It was very darker. It was sort of maybe even a little too much at points. That whole scene with Felix Leitner and his bride was a little.
Oh, that was that was dark.
License to Kill. Thank you, Hinton.
Yeah, that was dark. That's funny because I was just thinking about that. I was thinking about that one because in To Live and Let Die, they have a scene where they're about to be lowered into a pool of sharks. Which seems to happen a lot in Bond movies, and now we know why Dr. Evil likes sharks with laser beams on their head. He's so Blofeld. Anyways, so that's my thing that I'm doing is watching all of the James Bond movies consecutively. So every week it's at least one new Bond movie that I've seen. Well, not new, but not even new to me. In fact, I've seen all of them now that I've seen the Timothy Dalton ones, except for the newest. They haven't released the newest Daniel Craig.
It's all Spectre, though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Acid Burn Punk says, I watched Ghost in the Shell live action this weekend and gave it 3 space herpes. I have not seen the live action Ghost in the Shell. It is not really high on my list to see.
It's free, I think, on Amazon.
If I'm not mistaken. It's worth skipping.
Okay.
And I'll talk about something free on Amazon after Gonzo gives his next.
My next one is I watched and binge watched the entire season of Stargirl, which is on Disney, or not Disney Plus, HBO Max, because it's got all the DC
we're not
stuff.
No DC titles on Disney Plus there. Not until they buy DC.
Yeah. And because I saw that it was out, of course there was ads for it everywhere. So I figured I'd give it a shot. It's DC. I'm not a huge DC person, and it's kind of rated. I think they rated it as PG-13 on their rating system, and so I said, "What the hell?" It is a CW style show, but it is a CW style show without romance, which is
appropriately aged. There shouldn't be much romance because that gets creepy.
Yeah, well, she's in high school in this one, and everything. You can tell this was kind of geared for a younger generation, type thing. nothing really was cringy about everything that I was watching. It wasn't, horrible. It wasn't bad. It was just there.
It also doesn't sound like it was good at all either.
It wasn't great. I'm gonna tell you right now, it wasn't great, but I could tell that it wasn't geared towards me, so I wasn't upset about that. It's the best way to put it. They definitely were trying to gear it towards a younger crowd. The special effects were okay. There was quite a bit of wire action in it. A jumping and everything, which is okay. I get it. You're trying to make everybody, fly around and be, superheroes. Definitely had that CW feel to it for the action and the uh, drama, but there was not this huge romance thing going on with it. There wasn't all these little, everybody loving who and what and everything. It was all just basically very young style superhero show, which is not bad. I mean, it wasn't really that bad. Um, the costumes, we still can't do hooded capes very well on TV without making them look like crap, in my opinion. Um, the hooded capes were like real bulky and everything, and it just seemed off, especially when they were trying to fight in them. It was just like, yeah, that's not going to work.
No capes.
No capes. But I understand why. It's only
They're
season
great
1.
in illustration and in anime,
They're very dramatic.
but in real life,
They suck. But overall, it wasn't bad. It was a decent little show for, a superhero thing. Definitely, like I said, geared towards a younger crowd. But it's something to watch, and I'm always looking for something to watch. So I give it 1.5 space herpes, just enough that it doesn't go to, bad, but it's definitely not my type of thing. Luke Wilson does really good in this, by the way. He really does really good in this series for being which I think is funny, is that he's playing the only true adult in the show, most of it, because all the bad guys are adults. He's the good guy adult, and then everybody that's supposed to be superheroes are teenagers. But of course, they're all not teenagers. They're all like 28 and 30 and stuff. But it wasn't bad. I give it, like I said, 1.5 space herpes. So
my problem with the concept of Stargirl, I'm going to push up my glasses before that, of course, is because it's really deeply rooted in the Justice Society of America, and there's a lot of fucking continuity there that they can't get. That was sort of what made Stargirl cool, being a legacy hero of sorts.
it is not the same girl from Kick-Ass. It is a whole different other girl.
Definitely too old for that now.
Yeah. Different girl. Had some smaller roles before this. But I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just, I guess cheesy is kind of a better way to put it. Very young cheesy type thing. So.
Well, it sounds like it didn't even hit the necessarily high notes of the CW Flash and Arrow, so that's a problem.
No, so I'm I would say young adult. I'm very worried that it would be given another season the way it was. I'd be surprised. So.
Fair enough.
All right, John.
So my movie that was free on Amazon Prime. I was just looking through yesterday, getting ready to eat some dinner, and I saw they had Romancing the Stone for free.
Oh,
I know,
my God.
I know. I need to watch that. I'm so excited.
I have not seen that in years. It's been on my list to purchase, but never just gotten around to it. So now it's for free, along with the sequel, Jewel of the Nile, which you'll probably hear about next week, because Lord knows I got to watch that one right afterwards.
Oh,
and
yes.
This is a fun movie. It's sort of a adventure romance comedy of sorts, if you haven't seen it, starring Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner, with some Danny DeVito in it, and then really no one else of consequence. And the whole idea is, not really to spoil it, you all get to say it pretty quick, but Kathleen Turner character, who is a romance novelist, has to go down to Colombia to rescue her sister from people who are holding her hostage for a package that she sent to her for a treasure map. And there are other people looking for this as too. The Dr. Zolo of the Colombian secret police. Um, and he sort of lures her away, and she gets stuck out in the wilds and has to get help from Jack T. Colton, played by Michael Douglas, who you sort of get the original idea, like, oh, he's an Indiana Jones type. Then you realize he's not an Indiana Jones type. He's totally different. And along the way, they meet some interesting characters and have some fun adventures. And, I mean, it's just a good, fun, action comedy romance rom. It is the definition of a fun popcorn movie that you just enjoy. All the main actors give great performances. The comedic beats are good. I wouldn't necessarily say the romance is believable, but it's at least understandable. And it's just a fun time. It's a little rough at points. If I remember correctly, it was rated like PG-13 or R. Might have been R because I don't think PG-13 was around when it came out. I remember my mom taking me to see it in the theater, and I was expecting something totally different, but still loved the crap out of it. Michael Douglas is like the perfect quasi anti-action hero, because he's kind of action hero at parts, but he's not entirely. He's not like incompetent. No one's like comically incompetent except maybe Danny DeVito, who's just in there for comedy. Which is funny because I mean, Danny DeVito we all remember is a big deal, but he was not apparently a big deal movie wise when this came out because he's not even third bill. I don't even think.
When was it made? It was an 80s movie, right?
I want
Was
to
it
say
right after?
83.
So shortly after Taxi finished?
Yes, and much like a lot of people.
1984.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, 84. There you go. And it is super fun. I cannot suggest enough. I enjoy the crap out of it.
I haven't seen that one in a long time either, and I saw that it was on Amazon, and I'm right there with you, and like I have to see this. I have to watch this and Jewel of the Nile.
Yep. I was worried it wasn't going to hold up, but it holds up pretty well. I mean, it's one of those things you go into understanding it's a period piece, but it's nothing really there. I mean, sure, there are problems that would solve with cell phones pretty easily, but that's modern technology. You sort of got to understand where they were at that point, and it was really, really enjoyable. I'm gonna give it. I don't even know. I mean, God, I'm gonna give it 0. There are faults in it, but there aren't really any faults that you would really point out. I mean, like, sure, yeah. I mean, there are faults, but they're, probably a product of the budget and the time it came out. It's directed by Robert Zemeckis. It's enjoyable as crap, and I will definitely be watching the Jewel of the Nile for next week. Which I will say I remember being not as good, a bit more actiony, but I also remember enjoying the crap out of it. It was heavy rotation. Those were both heavy rotation and cable when I was growing up, and we watched the crap out of both of them.
Directed by Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah, and then I know Danny DeVito gets a much bigger role in the second one.
Yep.
I did also think, since I thought of what I was watching, I was very interested in that they didn't necessarily just show Colombia as totally backwater. They showed it as like city and then backwater, and it didn't really dumb it down. It just
what's funny?
But not everything.
My sister, when she was living in Costa Rica, took pictures of her bus ride from the city to where she was living in the mountains. And it looked just like that bus ride in Romancing the Stone.
Well, let me tell you, you learn a lot of things from this movie, like always wear sensible shoes when you go traveling. Sensible shoes. Or they won't be made sensible. There you go. So there you go. I'm going to give it 0. I don't make you feel bad giving it 0. It's super fun. I would watch it again. May not be a, watch it a ton in a row, but I could see watching it every year easily, every once in a while. I would introduce a couple of my friends. I think they would enjoy it. Gonzo?
I actually watched something, and I had said something to Kathy about it, because it popped up, and of course, playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it reminded me to watch this one TV show, because of course this is a Norwegian TV show called Ragnarok. And I was like, oh, I'm going to, see what this is about. Of course, I have it dubbed, so it makes it a whole lot easier for me. Um, so, one, I'm going to say this show is gorgeous because it's filmed in Norway in like one of the coolest stereotype Norwegian towns in the world. It's in between two mountains and there's a ton of snow and it's just a beautiful, beautiful scenery done outside and everything. The story is that it is very inaccurate. That's one thing I said. It is very inaccurate to Norse mythology.
Says Arathu. Arathu says that in the chat, and he would know because that's where he lives.
Correct. It is completely, but I mean, and I went in going, this is not, whatever. But pretty much what it is the gods are gone and they're coming back. And like one of the kids gets the power of Thor. I mean, it's in the trailer. You see it. It's not a big thing. This is not a spoiler. It's interesting to see the show in the fact that watching the way they do school, because it is a high school show, it doesn't have a lot of the... It doesn't do a lot of the CW drama relationship stuff. It does concentrate more on the mythical themes of what's going on. But I enjoyed it. It wasn't bad. It's already got renewed for a second season. So I'm kind of happy with it. I may watch it subtitled next time so I can kind of, see that because I'm sure the voices sound completely different or whatever. But I'm liking where it's going. It's not completely over the top, but it's just enough that people are like, oh, okay, this person is going to, they're going to do this and they're going to do that. So I'm not going to spoil it for Kathy. But it was fun. There is a theme behind it all. And it's an interesting theme. It's relevant for today. But I enjoyed it for, foreign films or foreign type things. It takes a lot for me to get into, but I was definitely into it. Yeah.
At least being prepared for the horribly inaccurate Norse mythology will make it easier for me to let that go so that I can enjoy the other parts of it, like the scenery and the language and the people, which is, that's what I like about the movies that are, international movies.
Yeah.
If you can, I have a friend who can't watch The Mummy because of how much they screwed up the Egyptian mythology or Egyptian history. And he's just like, I'm out. I'm like, all right. Fair. You missed a fun movie, but okay.
Yeah. But you can tell it's not a great budget. You can tell that they, that they're working on what they got, but they did a good job with it. I give it maybe one space herpy. That's where I'd go with it because it does go off a little bit every so often. But overall, it was a really good TV show. It's pretty short too. There's not many episodes, so you can have a good time with it. If you got something else you want to watch, fine. But check it out. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was kind of fun.
Cool.
And that's really the end of our podcast here tonight.
Yeah, I had one more, but I can hold
our
on.
media section.
Of course you have more on, so you watch so much stuff.
That's true.
You gotta do something with your life, man.
You gotta do something with my life. Watch TV, paint miniatures, create miniatures. What else do I do? Play video games.
Oh, it's because unlike me, you can actually do some of that while doing other stuff. Yeah. I watch something, just watch it.
Yep.
If I pick up my phone, that movie's not that interesting.
Yes, sir. I cannot wait for Cyberpunk 2077 on Friday or Thursday night.
Until it gets delayed again.
It's not delayed again. It's actually, there's physical copies. That would be like so hilarious.
No, it would be like
riding in the streets.
I don't know what that. the demographic of people who are going to play Cyberpunk 2077 and would be super duper upset enough to riot if it got delayed again is a very small amount.
So thank you, everyone,
Sorry, someone came
Thanks
through.
for
everyone-
hanging
thanks
out
everyone
with
who,
us.
hung out after you got sent here.
Yeah, I am actually going to send everybody to Epic Duck Studios. And he's actually painting some wolf riding gobos. I was watching his channel just for a bit to see what was going on.
Oh, I do like some wolf riding gobos.
It looks like it. Guys, we appreciate
I like
you for coming
pumpkin
out.
riding Cabos.
We appreciate you listening, watching. You can, of course, find us on every streaming device if you want to listen to back episodes. Pretty soon we'll have another thing come out where myself, a couple of other listeners and people, Captain Mizzy is actually on this, where we're doing a role-playing game, but we're saving some videos up. So, guys, please take care of yourself. Please watch out for everybody. Please, please, please wear a mask. For More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
And I'm Kathy. And you can find me streaming my miniature painting every week, Tuesday through Friday. Right here.
You can't find me.
You can find John anywhere.
I can't.